Guten Morgen, liebe Geschwister. So, ich bin sehr stolz auf euch, dass ihr es durch den Schnee her geschafft habt. Also, wow, wunderbar. Mal sehen, ich habe heute auch Erlaubnis bekommen, auf Englisch zu reden. Wen würde das stören, wenn ich auf Englisch rede? Denn die Elisabeth ist bereit, hinten zu übersetzen. Alle sind froh mit everyone is happy with English? Really? Okay. Jonghae, you can be happy as well. Good, then I will feel a bit more free and speak in English. And if you need support with translation, I think now Michi also went to the back to support, because Peter maybe doesn't speak English that well, so just in case. Yeah. So, the face of God, Akio, said he's already curious to see the face of God. Who here has ever felt that it would be lovely to really see God and talk to God and, sit there and have the conversation directly with God? Anyone ever felt this? Okay, quite a few people. Who wants to see the face of God? Sometimes be like, let's talk directly. Wonderful. So who wants to see the face of God? Okay. Shall we look at God's face right now? Look at the person next to you. Oh, wow, good. I like the direction. There was one hug only. Okay, and there's a kiss. Good. There was a couple that kissed. Yeah. No, but that's the real thing, actually. I came to this realization, I think a month ago, something just kind of hit me, the importance of seeing God in other people. When you look at another person's face, can you see our Heavenly Parent in this person? Can you see our Heavenly Father, Heavenly Mother manifested in this person? And of course, this is Divine Principle 101. What does the image of God look like? Man and woman, yes, it's human beings. We are the image manifestation of our Heavenly Parent. And the Divine Principle wonderfully says that each one of us is an encapsulation of unique characteristics of our Heavenly Parent. And that's why each one of us is so unique and each one of us is so valuable. Because each one of us is our Heavenly Parent from a different aspect. So look at the person next to you once more, yeah? For a few seconds longer, not just a quick but can you see our Heavenly Parent? Okay, who could see Heavenly Parent? Okay, good, few of us managed to do that. That's good. It takes, I guess, some practice also. But it's a really fun thing sometimes to do. Who travels with public transportation once in a while, regularly? Okay, that's almost everyone. Everyone else owns a private car or a private jet. Okay. This is a really fun thing if you're bored. Sometimes you get bored of just looking at your phone or reading something. So on public transportation, look at the people without looking too long, because they'll get awkward. But look at people and think, can I see God in this person? Can I see God in that person? Sometimes it may be easy looking at, for me it's easy to look at an elderly person, wrinkled face. For me, I look at that person and think, well, this person has gone through so many things in life. I feel like it's easy for me to see God's face. But now more recently, I'm also more challenged to see younger people as God, an encapsulation of God's face. Of course, I'm talking about my two daughters at home now. One of them is just, the old one is almost 2, and she's at this age where everything is 9. Appa, weg, 9, Appa, 9. That doesn't matter what we do, and it's a 9. So seeing this as God as well. Or my younger daughter, who's now 2 weeks old, when she's crying and she's actually very calm, so it's not that difficult. But yesterday she did something that Ella never managed. She made us change the diapers 4 times consecutively within 5 minutes. Chong and me were very happy. This was 11 o'clock in the evening. And she managed to make some mess also outside of the diapers. Before diapers, we had to change immediately. So anyway, still that's God's face that I'm trying to look at whenever I'm seeing a face. I don't know, maybe it's, some of you here are parents who are here with your children. Is it, those who are here with your children right now, maybe look at your child and think about, yeah, can you see a heavenly parent in this child? Those who are here with your spouse, look at your spouse. Can you see it? Marinella's very eager to look there. Very happy. Maybe you're not spending enough time looking at Robert when the moment someone is encouraging, like, oh yes, I've been wanting to do this all week. No. Yeah, I think that's an extremely important practice for us. And there are a couple of things I want to talk about on this point. First of all, actually, let's change the order. There's one part in the Bible that I really, really like. That's Esau and Jacob. So everyone knows the story, right? So these two brothers, they've basically been fighting since they were in their mother's womb. That's a lovely relationship. And they grow up and they start having more and more fights, and the older brother gets so upset with the younger brother for taking the birthright and the blessing that he is determined to kill his younger brother. And so the younger brother, Jacob, goes in another land, lives there for 21 years. And then he's like, all right, time to go back home. And on his way back, he hears that Esau, his older brother, is coming to meet him with 400 men, armed, which doesn't sound like a very warm welcome. I don't know, maybe in some countries it's this is what we do, but no. But I think it must have been quite a strong tension there, and you know, it seems like Esau did not let go of this hatred for all these 21 years that they were apart, and still like ready to come. My brother's gonna come. I'm gonna kill him for what he did. So, what does Jacob do when he sees Esau? And first he sends some cattle and gifts to his brother ahead. And then finally when he sees his brother coming there with the 400 men, what does Jacob do? He sends his family. And his family is behind him. But what does Jacob do? No, yeah, when the moment when he sees his brother. Very Korean tradition, yes, Akio. I think it's a person with who has partly Asian knows this answer. Like, no, what do? You bow down. Yes, Jacob bowed down, I think 7 times in front of his. Or was it even like 3 steps and then 7 bows or something like this? But multiple times. And then the words that he said to his brother. Do you remember? I mean, sorry, it's a bit small. Can you see in the back row? Oh. Robert has good eyesight, man. I'm jealous. I can barely see it from here. But it says, what Jacob told his brother when he met him, to see your face is like seeing the face of God. Two things to consider here. Number one, was Jacob being honest? Or was he just being a smooth talker? They're like, hey, brother, I see God's face in you. Don't kill me. I'd like to think if that was the case, Esau would have known that, no, this is my brother. I know him through and through. I know when he's lying to me, when he's just saying smooth things. So when Jacob said this, and Esau, after this, he came and hugged Jacob and cried and was overwhelmed, was forgetting about all the resentment. So I like to think when Jacob said this, it was so full of sincerity that Esau felt it 100%. Esau knew his brother meant what he was saying. Now the second question, was Esau perfect? And that is why Jacob could see, oh, that is God coming there in his holiness, perfection, everything. No. He was seeing a man with a face maybe contorted in rage, maybe sword out, we don't know, it doesn't describe it that deep, but, probably a very hard face, cruel face, with lots of anger. And still Jacob could sincerely tell his brother, I see God in your face. So, what we can learn from this, I think, first of all, is not about the other person. It is not what the other person has done. I mean, most of us, I think, we're not faced with a person who's about to kill you, right? It's rather a rare occasion. So usually we're in milder situations, maybe in neutral situations. But keeping that in mind, it's not the other person's job necessarily. It's our attitude to be able to see God in the other person. And now, another of my favorite stories in the Bible is of Moses. I found this a very touching thing when I read the Old Testament. So it's already more than 10 years ago, from beginning to end. It says the following in Numbers 12. Moses was a very humble man, more humble than anyone else on the face of the earth. So God said, when there is a prophet among you, I, the Lord, reveal myself to them in visions. I speak to them in dreams. But this is not true of my servant Moses. He is faithful in all my house. With him I speak face to face, clearly, and not in riddles. He sees the form of the Lord. And what I wrote down in my Bible on this page was that Moses could see the face of God because he was the humblest man on earth. And I found that very touching. And I think that is the absolute requirement for seeing God's face in anyone else. Having a humble heart, not thinking of my position or my appearance or my reputation or anything. Just seeing the person without any other thought, without any consideration, okay, what are the positions of power we are in or anything. Just the other person, without any sort of judgment or evaluation, just a full appreciation of this person. I think Jacob had the same, right? And when he bowed down in front of his brother 7 times, it's just pure humility. Nothing, no thinking, okay, I'm great, but just, you are the face of God. I see in you the son or daughter of God. And I do believe also Jesus very much had this same tendency, same ability to look at people. When you read the New Testament, how Jesus spoke, it was always real. So he was speaking to people, he was not speaking as a king or, even the people at the time said he's speaking differently from the scribes and Pharisees and the other rabbis. He's different. And I think that's the core thing, because the religious leaders at the time, they were so respected in society. When they talk, they had this moral superiority feeling, okay, I am above, I am teaching. But I think that's probably the thing that differentiated Jesus. He was speaking to people. He could see the face of God in people. And Jesus was also extremely, extremely humble. Sometimes we may read something being like, okay, you're saying, destroy this temple and I'll rebuild it in 3 days. Or before Adam was, I was, or before Moses was, I was. Before Abraham was, I was. Yeah, Abraham. Um, but I think that's more him talking in his position, talking about his position. But when he was meeting people, there was no sense of I'm better than you, I'm higher than you. He was telling other people, be perfect as your Father is perfect. He was never telling people, you poor sinners, shrivel on the ground and bow down to me. He never did that. That was what Satan was doing, right? He was saying, bow down in front of me and just recognize your sinfulness or say that you're evil and so on. And I think it became also very clear when Jesus died on the cross. If you had any sort of self-importance, the humiliation that you went through, you would have bitterness, and you would be somehow express it somehow, be like, ah! But Jesus was completely humble and meek, and still, despite everything, he was there to save the people, but was killed by them, and he said, God, please forgive them. They know not what they're doing. And I think the same is with true parents as well. When they are talking, they see the face of God in people, and that gives them hope, that gives them the drive. Okay, I think I'm dwelling very long on this point. So, seeing the face of God in others requires humility. It requires us to see from our Heavenly Parents' viewpoint. And we remember that's the first step where the human ancestors deviated, failing to see the viewpoint of God. So, if we can keep the viewpoint in God, seeing others the way our Heavenly Parent would, we'll be on a safe path. And this, seeing things from God's point of view, allows us to actually become more and more entwined with our Heavenly Parent's heart, become more and more united with our Heavenly Parent. And what's going to happen after that? When we constantly see the face of God, what actually happens, we start reflecting the face of God. A very wonderful example of this was Mother Teresa, who's maybe considered in the modern day one of the people who, I think one of the most recent saints, and a person who really was respected throughout her life as a holy person. And she said, "Speak tenderly to them, to the people. Let there be kindness in your face, in your eyes, in your smile, in the warmth of your greeting. Don't only give your care, don't only speak words, don't only interact, as you normally would, but give your heart as well." And Jesus also said the same, basically kind of saying this, describing this, how it should be. He said, "He who has seen me has seen the Father." And through this, interestingly, through our relationship to others, through practicing seeing God in others, God will increasingly dwell within us, and our eyes, our expressions, our being will start reflecting this. It's a natural thing, I think, as well. It's not a magic or some theory, but if you treat others as if you're treating God, then will you not become more godlike? Especially, let's say, the most difficult situations, maybe when we're arguing with someone, usually a family member. That time, taking that tiny break, 2 seconds in our mind, being like, try to see the face of God. Will I react differently? Will I speak differently? Will I be more careful of the words I do? Or will I show more kindness, more love, more patience to this person? And I think that's the second key thing I want to pass on, having the awareness also that I am a reflection of a Heavenly Parent, seeing other people, but also I myself try to embody our Heavenly Parent. And then slowly moving from the idea of he who has seen you has seen the Heavenly Father, the Heavenly Mother. And I think now, our songs in the beginning were all about Judgment Day is coming. What kind of, no, it's a good song, I like the song. What kind of a Judgment Day is coming? Is it the nasty type, or is it the good type? Made me think. And I think it's if we can make it the good type, where we can feel that our Heavenly Parent is shining behind us when we look at our spouse, when we look at our parents, at our brothers and sisters, at strangers on the bus, at our children. I think that's when the real good type of Judgment Day is going to come. The last days are going to come, and the world is really going to be different. So, with that, I'm coming to the conclusion of today's sermon, and just want to conclude with what True Father told us as well in relation to the face of God. He told us you should always be able to remain standing before the face of God. So I think there's the aspect of being unashamed of what we do, having the ability to treat others as God, by seeing them as God, and by ourselves really manifesting our Heavenly Parent, becoming one, and then there'll never be any shame when we meet our Heavenly Parent, when we pray, or when we go to the spirit world and our earthly life ends. So, yeah. I think maybe now for this month of December, let's keep this in mind. Let's try to see Heavenly Parent and everyone that we meet and greet. Maybe we can already start practicing right after this. You're about to meet a bunch of gods when you step out of this hall. Once we finish this Sunday service, you're going to eat lunch with God. So please look forward to it. And maybe it's also appropriate here to bring in Dr. Balcom's homework for us for this coming month, which is, in case anyone joined the Wednesday prayer call, is to give to someone without trying to benefit, without trying to build a reputation for our movement or for ourselves, but just giving even anonymously. So let's try to do that with that kind of heart, with the heart of Mother Teresa, or with the heart of Jesus, or Jacob, or True Parents. Just seeing the real person, serving the real person, and recognizing that person as a child of our Heavenly Parent, or a manifestation of our Heavenly Parent. So brothers and sisters, thank you so much, and I wish you a wonderful December and a wonderful day. Thank you.